Hello, I'm Roland, and I wanted to start this message to all of our 11,000 staff at Addenbrooke's and the Rosie, Cambridge University Hospitals, by saying a huge thank you to all of you for all of the work you're doing to support each other and our patients at the moment. What I really want to do now is to cover 4 areas. First of all, an update on where we are as an organisation. Secondly, remind you of the strategy for tackling coronavirus. Thirdly, talk about the tremendous progress we've made in the last week. And then finally, talk to you about what I think will be coming over the next 1 to 2 weeks. So where are we as an organisation? When I've been talking to staff over the last 4 or 5 days, staff are still very understandably anxious and concerned. But at the same time, I'm seeing renewed determination and a staff group who are purposeful as they think about how they can best look after each other and our patients. Alongside that, we now have around 80 patients with coronavirus in the hospital, of whom 22 are in our critical care facilities. What's interesting to note is we're seeing around 8 to 10 patients coming to the hospital every day with coronavirus, and that is some way below the 25 a day we had anticipated in our modelling. I'd now like to move on to talk to you about our strategy. So just to remind everyone, our strategy has 2 limbs. The first limb is to look to care for as many people with coronavirus and also patients without coronavirus who have urgent needs across our population. And secondly, and equally importantly, to make sure that all of our staff are well protected. And to deliver those 2 parts of the strategy, we are developing a 460-bedded coronavirus hospital alongside other facilities within the hospital to provide care for other people. The third area I want to cover is the progress we've made in the last week. So on PPE, personal protective equipment, we've done an enormous amount to get the supply chain right, to be able to get the equipment in that we need, and to really get very clear on both how we're going to use it and also how we're training people so they can be safe when they're looking after our patients. There's still a great deal of work to do to tweak that guidance and also to make that supply chain really sustainable and effective. On ventilators, it's great that we're now at 100 against our target of 150, and we are currently pursuing an additional 80 to 100 ventilators to really get above that 150 target. Really great progress there. On testing, we are pursuing 3 different channels, which we hope will enable us to have much greater clarity around access to staff testing during the first half of next week. The key issue for us there is accessing the chemicals we need for those 3 different pathways around testing. And finally, another update for you is it's great to see that we now have clarity around a 7-phased bed plan for Addenbrooke's and the Rosie that we can start to activate as we move forward as more patients come to the hospital. More work to do there in terms of the guidance to staff around how they'll care for patients on those wards and the pathways to get the patients into the right part of the hospital. So real progress there against 4 of our 11 task forces that I've talked to you about before. So what's going to happen next? So over the next 2 weeks, we're going to continue to do work to make all of those task forces more resilient. There's a great deal to do there. But also we're now really starting to energise the piece of work around sustainability and recovery. And here we're thinking about how we're going to look after patients in our population who have urgent needs not related to coronavirus. Trauma patients, cancer patients, patients requiring urgent non-cancer care. We have to have an answer for all of that community and how we can start to provide care as we go through what could be quite a prolonged period of stop-start for the National Health Service. The final piece I'd say is some of you will have noticed a large fleet of yellow diggers on the land just next to the Rosie Hospital. They're flattening that land and making it smooth. That was always in the plan for CUH, Cambridge University Hospitals, as we prepare for the Children's Hospital and Addenbrooke's 3. But there's also obviously potential for a possible step-down facility to be built quite rapidly on that land that would enable us to have greater resilience here at Addenbrooke's and the Rosie. My final message would be a huge thank you and well done to everyone. We have a really strong plan. That plan will struggle when we come into contact with coronavirus over the next 2 to 4 weeks, but we should all remember we've done all we can to prepare for this. And stay safe, and a big thank you.